Bit of an exciting day today. Don't have heaps of time to give this today because I'm planning on packing up and going camping. Probably worst time to be doing with the fuel prices currently at $3.15. But instead of all the technical engine work stuff, I want to start building this tray. Just went and picked up some timber. I was really looking for some really ragged used shit, but everyone's charging a fortune for rubbish. So I just went down to the hardware store and just bought something I thought would look pretty cool. It's already nice colouring and that sort of thing, and it's going to go well with what I've got in my mind as to what I want to see. So the idea is I want to get this bed made first and just sitting on the back, and once we've got that sorted out we can start on the wheel arches and the sideboards, because we're going to remake our own sideboards. I'm not going to use the old ones, I don't think. They're too busted up and shitty looking, and I'd rather not. So it'll take more time to try and straighten them out what it is just to make new ones that could actually just flow all the way through into that wheel arch. So that's pretty much the plan. Now the only trick is I didn't think about this too carefully when I actually moved into this shed. All my lengths of steel that I want to use are sitting down behind my workbench. They're like 8 metre lengths. So I may be cutting them in there and bringing them out. Now, well, story. We'll push Woody out in the sun. Beautiful day. We'll create some room, and we'll start cutting and putting together. Let's get into it. Alright, so I've actually ratchet strapped and crushed the suspension down to a bit more of a level I'm expecting to have it sitting at, because it's still sitting on like 3-inch springs at the back. So just want to get it sitting closer to where I want it to be, and we can start making up this framework for the bed now. It's just going to be simply a couple of feet coming off the original mounts, running them from front to back in the square fashion. That'll run through here, which will actually add like a nice mounting point for the wheel arch to go against. And then we can just put a bit of a right angle up here to below the window, put some crossbars across it to lay the actual timber slats in, and we're on our way pretty quickly. So first things first, I just got to get these long runners cut. So I need to use that to square up to then figure out the height of my little legs. Once we've got all that, we can start doing cross braces and laying timbers in and all sorts of stuff. So let's get into it. We've got to try and dig this steel out of the back of my shed. Well, that's step one, I guess. All of probably 30 or 40 minutes it took just to knock that frame together. So it's not going too bad. These here I'll show you. These here I'll probably just put a plate on the bottom, maybe a nut in the bottom. We'll just put a bolt up through underneath to pull it down. It's nothing fancy. They're not really going to be doing any hard work, this tray. It's just more for a showpiece. It's just for looks. So chuck some odd stuff on there, I guess, but that's about it. You're not going to be putting it to work. So that's why we're sort of making it light. We're making it the way we are, really. So, but we'll go grab some timber and we shall chuck on there and give you a bit of a look as to where we're going, and also figure out if I've got enough timber for the job or if I bought too much. That's pretty much the gist of what we're going for. What we're actually going to do to jazz this up a little bit is we'll get some 20mm. I like to think I could just buy the solid steel, but I don't think that's going to happen. We'll get the 20mm steel tube, and we're going to run that down in between each one of these slats. A bit like that old school bed liner with the stainless steel trim. But we'll weld that in between, and when it all gets painted, it'll all have that patina sort of rip through look, and it'll actually contrast against the timber. So that's pretty much what we're doing with that. Really wouldn't mind getting my plasma cutter going, because the sides, I was actually thinking about doing a bit of a curvature type thing, only just 3 of them, one in front, one back, one in the middle. And even on these outside edges, I was experimenting over the other side there where you can see I've just got one standing upright. So what I need to do is try and space this out more correctly. I think we give up on holding the actual suspension right now, because I need to lay these boards flat, and the my ratchet strap's sort of holding it up at the moment, so I really need to work out where 20mm is going to fall in between each gap, and where I need to space these to work out if it's going to work out neatly or not. So we'll get rid of a ratchet strap and we'll start placing them a bit more accurately. If need be, I can go to a 25 bar, or even down to a 16 sort of thing. It just depends on what the tray is actually going to need. The original plan was, but I rushed into it, was I was going to measure the timber, measure the 20mm gaps, and then make the tray to suit. But in the long run, I think how it positions in the mounts perfectly, and where it actually sits with the actual wheel, and the wheel arch can be mounted to the side of that. Trade off one for the other, I guess. Let's get the ratchet strap out and see how it looks. That worked out okay. Instead of trying to split timber and do all that crap, what I'm actually looking at now is I've just pulled the timbers in from the edge a little bit, because 25mm in from each edge of where I've got my timber slat standing up on the sides. I can always buy that in like a square tube and put that on the outer edge just to make that fill and give it a bit more detail colour wise. Probably be a 25 by 25, so it'll protrude a bit, but on the outside edges it doesn't matter because it'll sort of look a bit more structural. But this is what, so 25mm gap, and then we've got our 20s going all the way across. So visually, that's going to be pretty specky with all the bands of blue running in between this timber. The headboard, we're just going to be laying the slats, maybe only 3 or 4 of them across there. Idea is to try and hide this cab as much as possible to disguise the actual cab extension. So they'll come out the sides a bit. We'll work that out when it comes a bit closer to the time. But I might even just put like a steel band up and around to encase them as well, to make them look a little bit more funky. Like I said, the tray is sort of supposed to be old school, but then it's also supposed to be a bit race spec, like someone's modified it, cut it down, made it lighter weight, and turned it into something a bit cooler. So yeah, I'm not minding that. That's actually going pretty good. So now torn, as to whether I run down the shop and we buy some steel, 20mm, or we keep going with the actual sides of a truck. Sort of not minding the idea of a 20mm to a certain degree, because if I buy enough of that, that actually may be a lot easier to curve the wheel arch around that, so it creates the actual center lip I'd need of a 20mm, and it has like a little radius on it like all the SH and RHS has. So I was thinking about using the 40 and just pie cutting it all the way around to make it work, but I don't really think I've got enough 40 for that. So you might look at using a 20. I think I actually see a bit of 20 laying down in there actually. So I got a little bit of 20 there. I might pull that out and see if that sort of is long enough to do something on the side piece here. Alright, we'll see how we go. Alright, just got back from the steel store. Apparently they're the busiest they've ever been, and pretty much ever in the last 3 weeks, ever since they sort of have this crisis going on. Everyone's running out stocking up pretty much. But for us, we've got our steel, we've got it all cut. So check this out. Got a 25 just sitting there, like so. Got all the 20s sitting over there. So we're going to start spot welding all this in and lay it out and see what it looks like. Alright, I'll wrap us up for today. Got a shit ton of things on my list I've got to get done today. Pack before we go away camping. Got a bloke that actually has a heap of old spotties, and he reckons there's about 3 pairs of Hella Rally 1000 or 4000 bull lights over 200, 240 size ones. $150 for like, I don't know, like 15 old school spotties, and in that was 3 sets of the Hella Rallies, which is very old school for Woody. So thought, why not? Might as well just grab them. I wasn't going out to get him, but I was going to wait for him to come into town. Messaged me last night and said he's coming in, so I said, alright, we'll go into town and get them. But yeah, got phone calls and all sorts of things to make. But I don't know, it's time probably about 11ish now, 3 hours. We've managed to knock this up. So the arse end has started to take shape. Which will look pretty cool. Like I said, once we paint all inside these little, we'll paint the whole tray the same as a cab really. We're going to scuff it, patina it, clear coat it. So all these little blue bits, all these blue bits now will actually become the patina paint job as well. So yeah, it's actually going to pop a bit, might even put some more stain on the timbers. I'm not sure about that yet, but yeah, only got a couple of bits of timber left, which isn't good. Like this is sort of going to be going across the back of the cab like so. So I don't know. We're only going to go up to that sort of height up there. Not sure what I do about the ends. Even part of me thinks the old square post just coming straight up isn't a bad look either. I was going to do like more of a curved outlook of the rail coming out. Maybe we just keep it simple. Maybe I just put the upright square post and we just put the rail and maybe a couple of bits of timber on the side as well. Don't know. I want a little bit of that race engineering type look with a crafted sort of curved bars of a hole through it sort of thing. Just add that little bit of like racecraft to it. But also too, we can't go mucking around too much. We're going to keep pushing with it. But for now, that's looking pretty good. So can't be too upset with that finish really, can we? I'm pretty stoked. At least I've got something to show me mate. Might even be looking at stopping on Beefy for a couple of weeks now anyway. We might get stuck back into Woody and let me mate catch up on a bit of on the money he owes me so far. I mean, I gave him a price only a couple of days ago. I said that buys us a little bit of headway, but after buying the materials today and a few hours I've put in, that credit's pretty much gone. So there's no point continuing on until he squares up with me, because so far all I'm doing is spending money on my money and my time on his car. I could be doing it on Woody out there. So, and I've got all the parts now, I've got the cam. So we might actually see a bit more progress on him coming up. So maybe even just more for myself. I need to do that than anything else. So, but if you like what you see there, then subscribe, keep following, and we'll see Beefy and Woody come to life. Cheers.